of August 2019, you will no longer be able to make... This is a great story. This is a wonderful story. 29th of August 2019, you will no longer be able to make your claim and seek compensation for a missold PPI, a payment protection insurance claim. That's the final deadline. It's been set by the Financial Conduct Authority. They're going to basically draw a line under what has been one of the biggest scandals of the banking industry. My goodness, they've had a lot of them, haven't they? But does that mean that the phone calls also stop? Let's ask Jasmine Birtles. She's finance expert and consumer journalist for MoneyMagpie.com. Jasmine, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi there.
Hello. Just look, this deadline. See, I haven't had a PPI. Pretty sure I haven't. Anyway, I've never applied for one. I've been pretty good about the paperwork I sign and any financial stuff over the years. So I think I'd know whether I did or not. But I still get those calls every now and then on the mobile saying, oh, have you got a PPI claim? We see the adverts. They drive everyone up the wall. Does that mean these will finally stop?
Well, you would hope so, yes. I would imagine by that time they'll have found something else to phone you up about those. But yes, I don't think it's going to be complete peace and quiet, but it will be a blessed release, frankly. And, because, I'm sure like you, I listen to these or look at them for, 2 seconds and think, no way, if I had them, like you, I don't either. But if I have, no way would I waste all that money on you doing it when it's actually relatively straightforward to do it yourself.
But that's the argument that's always been sold, is that, look, it's no effort. It's just a phone call. Make a phone call back to this company, send them a text, and then they will just find out whether you've got a PPI. Even if you think you don't have one, they'll find one, and then they'll get the money back. But, of course, they get the money back, but they keep some of it.
Yes, they do, up to 40% of it. Ouch. So exactly. You could say, all right, that's their money. But for a phone call, seriously, any time, say, for example, you got £1,000 back, you'd have to give them 400 quid. So you'd only get 600 of it. Now, you could say, well, that's 600 that I wouldn't have had otherwise. But, there's so much on the net about how you can do it yourself. Which magazine, they're online, so they've got all these forms you can do and letters. There's Resolver, Money Saving Experts got it, the Money Advice Service. Really, it's all out there, totally free. Why would you pay?
No, we know that the biggest 5 banks, that's Lloyds, Barclays, RBS, HSBC and Santander, they've collectively set aside, wait for it, more than £35 billion to cover the cost overall. But the bill for the industry could have been much higher, because some consumer groups are pointing out, it's interesting, they missold these products. And we'll get back to actually what these products were in just a moment. They missold these products, and then they're now having to offer compensation, but only if someone makes a claim. And the argument is that, well, these banks know perfectly well who they sold these products to. They've kept the paperwork, even if we haven't, or we've lost it down the back of the sofa, in which case they should have been tackling and tracking people down.
It's a very good point, yes, and wouldn't that be marvellous? You really would pick up the phone if you thought that it was going to be the bank. Although, of course, there again, the ambulance chasers and the dodgy people would phone you up and pretend to be your bank. But having said that, yes, it would make perfect sense, I agree, for them to call you up. I can only assume that the reason that it hasn't been is that it would maybe break the banks if they did that. They would literally not carry on because they'd have to give out so much money. So I'm assuming, I don't know, but I'm assuming that is why the FCA hasn't said, right, you lot, you go give the money back and give it back now with interest.
Yeah, yes, as you say, given that the aim of the dealing with the banking crisis was not to have the banks go under, that's probably a wise move. But let's go back to what this is and why so many people aren't aware whether they do or don't. We know if we've got a mortgage or not, don't we? We know if we've got a bank loan or not, or we've got a car we're paying rental payments on. What is PPI, Payment Protection Insurance, and how is it that people can buy it and have it and be missold it and not know they've got it?
Well, absolutely. And I think it's all to do with sales because, the way it used to be when you used to go to the bank manager, it was a kind of Captain Mannering type who would look at you sternly and go, no, you may not borrow this. And then in the 80s, they got rid of them and brought in the men in white socks. And they were basically just salespeople, essentially. And their remit, and this is across the banking world, their remit was to sell you stuff, whatever it was, whether it was insurance or loans or whatever. And they got commission on those sales. And added to those loan sales, mortgages and loans, they were told they had to sell as much payment protection insurance as possible, and they got some really good commission on those. And payment protection insurance really protects the bank, frankly. The idea is that if you suddenly lose your job and can't pay your loan, that insurance will pay the loan for you. Now, the thing is that for some people, that is genuinely quite a useful thing for some. But for people like me, for example, and I think we're freelance, no use at all. If I suddenly don't have work, that insurance company would go, well, tough. We're not paying, you're freelance, you're not covered.
You can't have you don't have a guaranteed income anyway. But the extraordinary, how many people have bought this? And you said that the reason they were missold it was because, again, it wasn't actually a legitimate product, and people were being sold it, and it was often an extraordinarily high percentage of the product that people had bought.
Well, exactly. And the way it was done quite often was when you're having the conversation with apparently your bank manager or whoever it was, they would be saying, and they weren't supposed to say this, but they would go, well, we would like to give you the loan, but obviously, it's going to be difficult, if you don't have the insurance. Now, that's absolute rubbish and frankly illegal. It's not the case that you have to have insurance, but people just sort of, you just accept it because this person in a suit is telling you. And quite often they would just sort of sweep it and they'd go, oh, and then there's this charge for this charge. You just go, oh, all right. You don't even know that you're being charged it, and it's added on to the loan, and all you're interested in is really, can I have the money and how much is it going to cost me each month? You don't really think about the other stuff. So this is how a lot of these things were sold, and 45 million of them were sold.
45 million, it's extraordinary.
Yes, it is extraordinary, isn't it? And so, this has been done to loads of people. And when you think how hopeless we are at money anyway in this country, most of us don't really know what an APR is. We don't understand all of this stuff. It's all
and they've been basically playing on that. But what's interesting is since 2003, 1.5 million people have been so dissatisfied with the PPI offers that have been made to them by the banks, or they've been completely rejected. They've gone on to the financial ombudsman. But what's interesting that it's extraordinarily actually is that over half of all cases where it's rejected and people go to the independent ombudsman, the bank's rejection is overturned. So if you've been rejected, it is if you've identified you had one, it's well worth appealing. And again, we are talking about often hundreds, sometimes even thousands of pounds.
Yes, it's worth doing. And again, the ombudsman, it's free. You don't have to pay. You don't have to pay some sort of dodgy company that says it'll do it for you. You can just go to them. It's a few forms to fill in, but it's not that much, frankly. And as you say, for a few grand, I'd do that.
Absolutely. I would get out of bed for that. I'll get out of bed for 20 quid. Yeah. Jasmine Birtles, finance expert, consumer journalist from MoneyMagpie.com. Thank you so much.